Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and we are surviving out there after the snow that we had yesterday, the slippery conditions that persisted into this morning and really into much of the afternoon. Now we're watching the temperatures falling again. So whatever has not dried up, whatever the sun was not able to kind of work away at that snow and ice that was out there, whatever is left is going to be freezing up again and causing slick spots again during the evening hours, the rest of the evening hours overnight and into tomorrow morning. We did have some good news today, though, that our temperatures did get up above freezing. This is the first time since 8 o'clock on Sunday night that we've seen our temperatures go above freezing. But before we got there, it was really cold this morning. We started off at 14 degrees this morning, and then during the day with the sunshine, that really helped to warm things up a little bit. We moved up to the upper 20s by 12. Once we got to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we got up to freezing at 1 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock we were 33. We did top off at 36 today. Earlier, the National Weather Service reported our high at 35, but it bumped up another degree, so 36 is the official high. That came in between these two hourlies right here that you see at 35, and then we held above freezing until between 6 and 7. Then at 7 o'clock we went back to freezing, and now we're watching those temperatures fall once again out there for today. So here's what we're watching. We have been telling you about the long duration freeze that we were going to be expecting for the first part of this week. And we had said that it would be, first we said it'd be about 64 to 65 hours, and then we started saying 60 plus hours. But as of today, when we went back above freezing, the total number of consecutive hours below freezing was 66 hours. Again, from last Sunday night at 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock this afternoon when we finally went above freezing. So that is a long duration cold event. So whenever we have these type of events like this where the temperatures are below freezing for so long, that increases our risk for some freezing pipes. And you may say, hey, my pipes haven't burst yet. Well, they may be frozen somewhere in your house and you won't know about it until they start to thaw out, and then that's when they can start leaking. So it might be now that we're beginning to see the temperatures come up a little more that you might be seeing some evidence of any frozen pipes or burst pipes in your home. Then of course, if one of those happens to burst and you have water coming through your house, know where your water shutoff is to your house so you can shut it off to at least prevent any more damage there to your house until you can get that plumbing fixed. So here again, 66 hours with those temperatures at or below freezing. Here are the official numbers for today. The high was 36. That low was 14 degrees. The record for this time of year, or for today's date, is 10. That was set in 1961. So the record low was 4 degrees away from that. But let me tell you, 14, that was cold this morning. And then there's the high today was 36. If you're wondering where we should be for this time of year, we should be around 54 degrees at this time of year. We're not going to get to that until next week. But when we get back to normal with temperatures up to 54 degrees, that's just going to feel so good to us out there. But that's really just where we should be here for this time of year. All right, so let me show you what we have been watching. And we've compiled some of the snow totals out there for today. And I'm going to show you this on the bigger picture so you can see what we're talking about here with these snow totals. And these pretty much line up with what we were thinking would happen. And we were talking about the northern extent of that snow line. Depending on how much moisture moved in would determine how far north that snow line would go. And we were thinking North Georgia and Northwest Georgia would remain snow-free. We just didn't think that the moisture would make it up that far, even though it would be cold enough to have snow there. We didn't think it would make it that far. We did get trace amounts up in Cobb County, up toward Habersham County, North Fulton, Forsyth County got some trace amounts, but really lower amounts around a ½ inch or so through the metro area and on up toward the north and east, and then up toward the Athens area, officially a ½ inch. Now, I know that doesn't sound that impressive, right? And that's what we were trying to build up and let people know about. because we didn't want people to think, oh, a half inch of snow or a dusting really isn't a big deal. But because the ground was so cold, that half inch became a big deal because that turned very slick. It didn't like fall down and a lot of it melt and just go away. It came down and it froze, and it caused everything to be very slick out there. So even these light amounts caused some issues around the metro Atlanta area. South of the city, including Hartsfield-Jackson, Hartsfield picked up 1.1 inch of snow yesterday. And then below that, we had some 1 to 1.5 to 2 inch totals there in many of these counties on the south side. And then when you get down into parts of central Georgia, that's where we had 2 to 4. Even one area picked up 7 inches of snow down in central Georgia. So that's a lot. And that corresponded with what we thought. We had been saying all along, you have a better chance for snow in Macon, Columbus, and Valdosta and Waycross than we have up in the mountains of North Georgia. And the mountains of North Georgia didn't really see anything out there at all. And take a look at radar right now. This is a very quiet night out there, and we deserve a quiet pattern over the next few days. We don't have any clouds around. We don't have any rain moving in. By tomorrow morning, though, we are going to see a few more clouds that'll be pushing into our area, but high pressure is sitting over us, and we don't really see any precipitation moving in anytime soon. So here's a look at what we're watching with the weather impacts over the next couple of days. Temperatures are now going below freezing, and we're going to stay below freezing most likely until about 11 o'clock in the morning. And that's when we'll see those temperatures coming back up above freezing. But while we're having those freezing temperatures out there, and while we still have some snow and or ice or compacted snow on the ground, now that we're going back to below freezing, that is going to be turning slick again for the overnight hours. And what you're going to find, a lot of those areas that were not in the sunshine today, those areas that were in the shade and the sun wasn't able to get through those trees to kind of penetrate down and eat away at the snow or to make the snow disappear that was on the ground. So that could actually be a little bit more of an issue because you may be driving along thinking everything's fine, the roads are clear, you're doing good, but then you might drive through an area that was covered by trees and the shade there, and that might still be slick. So you have to be really careful and still be aware, even though you think the roads are fine. If you're driving tonight or in the morning and you see something on the road that you think looks wet, you have to assume that that is going to be ice. It could be black ice. You have to be very, very careful with that. So we're watching the potential for some refreezing. And also stay bundled up. Even though we're talking about these temperatures coming back up to above freezing for a brief period, it's still really cold out there. In fact, take a look at some of these temperatures. Right now, we just went down to 30 degrees here at the top of the hour. Outside the city, now remember that's in Atlanta, outside the city, we've got a lot of 20s around. Even Peachtree City right now down to 23 degrees, 27 in Duluth, 26 in Canton. Over in Marietta, it's 28. Athens is 23 degrees. We got 23 up in Blairsville. So the very cold air is in place right now. Take a look at the planner, the Thursday planner, and notice that we're going to see some clouds here early in the morning. And those clouds are going to just maybe help to prevent those temperatures from falling too much during those overnight hours. Almost kind of like adding a blanket here to us to kind of hold in, even though we don't really have any heat in our area. At least it kind of prevents those temperatures from falling a long way. So here is what we're watching with that cloud cover. Temperatures at 20 in the morning, 24 at 9. 31 at 11. So in Atlanta, we think that between 11 and 12 tomorrow, that's when we're going to see those temperatures coming back up to freezing or a little bit above. By noontime or by 1 o'clock, we should be around 35 degrees. And then 3 o'clock, 39, 5 o'clock, 38. So it'll not only be a little bit warmer tomorrow, if you want to call 39 warm, but a few degrees higher tomorrow. It's also going to be above freezing for a little bit longer of a duration tomorrow compared to what we had out there today. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we go back to below freezing again during the evening hours, and we'll have another morning here on Friday where temperatures are going to return into the 20s. So it's going to be, the cold mornings are going to stick with us. Generally in the 20s for the rest of the week and into the weekend, but it's the afternoon highs that are going to start coming up just a little bit more, continuing there on into the end of the week. So here again is what we're going to be watching as we go through the next couple of days here with the forecast track showing nothing really major tonight. We're just mainly dry out there. In the morning, there's what we're talking about, a few more clouds that'll be building in. That's why we don't think we'll drop down to 14 or 15 again. It's going to be 20 or lower 20s thanks to these clouds that are moving in. These clouds, though, will not have any rain in association with them. It's just going to be blocking out the sun at times. And earlier we were thinking we could get into the low 40s for highs tomorrow, but now with this additional cloud cover, I think we'll hold in the upper 30s at about 39 degrees. We may see, this is at 5 o'clock, we may see those clouds break up enough to give us some sunshine that'll bump us up pretty quickly into those late afternoon hours. But for now, just plan on upper 30s here during the day on Thursday. Then Friday, another cold start. Friday looks like a day with mostly sunny skies early on and then a few clouds build in. Don't get too concerned about this right here. Still with some cold air in place. It could squeeze out a couple of flurries during the day on Friday. I'm not overly concerned about that. Our highs on Friday are going to be around 41 degrees, so it's not going to give us any issues there. But the models are depicting maybe just a couple little spotty little snow flurries that could be moving into our area. So here's how those mornings are going to stay low, really for the end of the week and the weekend. Lows in the 20s here. By Monday, we do see the low temperatures coming up to 37. The reason it's going to be milder on Monday morning is because we will have some showers that are going to move in, a lot more moisture that will be moving our way, and that'll keep it a little milder. And then here's the trend I want you to see. We go to 39 Thursday, and that's going to feel a lot warmer than today, then 41 Friday, 48 Saturday, 50 on Sunday, back to 48 on Monday. So we do see a gradual warming trend, but then I want you to see here in the 7-day outlook where we are really going to see more of a warm up going into next week as well. See that gradual warming trend for those afternoons, and then look at this, Tuesday, how about a high of 56? Remember how I told you if we got up to average, which is 54, that was going to feel really warm? Well, we're going to be a little above average going into Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, maybe even up to 62 degrees here for the middle of next week. And the only rain chance we see really is going to be on Monday when we could see a few scattered showers that'll be pushing into our area. So hold on for a little while longer. We have that potential for some refreezing during the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning, then thawing out a little bit more into the afternoon tomorrow, freezing again on Friday morning, thawing out a little bit more, and that trend will continue over the next few days until we finally get into the 50s and 60s coming up into next week. Keep it with us right here on 11 Alive and 11 Alive Plus. We'll keep you updated with some long-form weather updates here at 11 Alive Plus, as well as our product on 11 Alive News.